The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Hi there, my name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program. I'm sure I'm looking actually at the camera for this 11th day of January 2023. And although the Braves and the Mets play 19 times over the course of a season, it does seem such a shame to have those meetings so early in the year. If you're a Mets fan, however, you gotta like how your season started. They're gonna go with Rick Reed, and they are 5-2. The Braves counter with Greg Maddux. We had his last start against the Marlins down in Florida, in which he lost. In fact, he walked a couple batters, which was even more surprising. The Braves come into this one 3-5. Not a great start. The Mets are out of the gate at 5-2. The first of 3 games for week 2. In fact, you'll see the Mets tomorrow as they play the very surprising Cincinnati Reds. And then on Friday at noon Eastern, it'll be Roger Clemens and the Yankees versus Pedro Martinez and the Boston Red Sox. So the Braves and the Mets, the Yankees and the Red Sox, and the red-hot Cincinnati Reds all this week right here on Retro Sports Network. As Retro Sports Network presents 2001 Action PC Season Odyssey from Shea Stadium in Flushing Meadows, it is the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. And tonight's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. Oh, yeah, we'll get to that one in a second. So another game, another rainy day, this time in New York. It is 56 degrees, a far cry from the 90 degrees last night for the Diamondbacks and the Cardinals, which was so crazy, it's going to pretty much get its own episode of Digital Dice. And Rick Reed doesn't want to hear anything about that. Reed is 35 years old, a fastball pitcher at 84, and a standard pitcher. Has thrown once so far this replay. That was against the Braves 6 days ago, so last Thursday, in a 4-3 loss where he took the loss. 6 innings, 93 pitches, 8 hits, 4 runs, both earned, and 2 homers. 0-1 with a 6 ERA. The lineup for the Braves, Rafael Furcal is at short, he'll lead off. Andrew Jones batting second, will go in center. Chipper Jones at third, and remember, he owns Shea Stadium. He will bat third. Brian Jordan in right cleans up. B.J. Surhoff in left will bat fifth. Rico Bronya at first will go sixth. Cuvio Veras at second, batting seventh. Paul Bacco behind the plate, going eighth, and Greg Maddux on the mound, batting ninth. Defensively, for the Mets, it's Darryl Hamilton, a 6 and a 3 in left. Payton, a 5 and a 6 in center. That's Jay Payton. And Sinjo, I'll get to that name when I get to it, a 6 and an 8 in right. Robin Ventura, a 6 at third. Ray Ordonez, an 8 at short. Elgardo Alfonso is a 3 at second. Todd Zeal is 6 at first. And Mike Piazza, future National League DH of America, a 3 and a 1 behind the plate. Reed, not a bad fielding pitcher, a 7 with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Furcal has a gun, Pesky Pool says. You remember watching him in the minors at Myrtle Beach. Must have been a Braves team. So afternoon baseball today, tomorrow, and Friday, as Furcal steps in at 344, a homer and 4 RBI. And so the projected schedule will be a night game Tuesday, baseball Wednesdays and Thursdays, and then starting next week, the return of my pro golf life on Fridays and Sundays. Reed starts this one on a rainy night, pops up, It'll be Alfonso, and Edgar's on the grass, 1 out. No report from Arizona about whether Bobby Witt had his arm removed after last night. Goodness gracious. Andrew Jones at 303, 4 homers and 7 RBI. I wanted to make sure that I got in sync, so we could usually do 3 baseball games a week, and then that leaves me a couple extra spots. Jones off to a flying start. Pitch from Reed, and Andrew chops this one to third. Ventura looks for Nolan Ryan, throws for first, and there's 2 out. It brings up Chipper. Larry needs a good series here at Shea. 214, a home run, and 5 RBI. Reed kicks and fires, and there's a liner into center field. Just like he knew what he was doing, Jay Payton will pick it up, and Chipper will go for second. The throw down to Alfonso is not in time, and for Chipper, that's his first double of the year. And that brings up Brian Jordan at 231, 3 homers and 8 RBI. So the wife has a chiropractor appointment most Tuesdays. And sometimes I think we can get him in, but I can't always count on that at our scheduled luncheon appointment. But today and tomorrow for sure, and Friday. It's 22 here in town today. Pitch to Jordan. Brian in the right field. Shinjo will be coming in and makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. I have a feeling that pesky Pole is not Ernie Johnson Sr. Half an inning in the books, the Braves. Nothing. Here come the Mets. So we had Greg Maddox's start. A 6-inning no decision against the Marlins on Friday the 6th. 96 pitches, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, a home run allowed. The surprising thing for Maddox, who's 35, throws a changeup and the fastball at 82, is he walked 3 batters. He only walked 27 in 233 real innings. Zelderon, how are you? This will be the lineup he'll face. Darryl Hamilton in left leads off. Edgardo Alfonso and second will bat second. Zelderon enjoyed the latest podcast. That was our Steve Tate one. We're taping tomorrow, by the way. Robin Ventura is at third. He'll bat third. Mike Piazza behind the plate cleans up. Todd Zeal at first will bat fifth. Jay Payton in center goes sixth. Shinjo in right will bat seventh. Ray Ordonez at short batting eighth. And Rick Reed, who threw 14 pitches in his half of the first, will bat ninth. You didn't miss yesterday at lunch. It was last night there, Big Dave. But don't let it happen again. I wrote you your only blue slip for that. They're pink ones the rest of the way. Defensively for Atlanta, B.J. Surhoff a 4 and a 4 in left. Andrew Jones a 10 and a 6 in center. Brian Jordan a 7 and a 9 in right. Chipper Jones a 3 at third. Percal a 5 at short. Varus a 6 at second. Bronya a 4 at first. Baco a 4 and a 5 behind the plate. And Maddox might as well just pour himself some gold on him. He's a 10 on the mound with a 986 fielding percentage. And let me tell you, 986 is something special for a pitcher. Darryl Hamilton at 235, a home run, and 4 RBI. So Maddox, between the raindrops, wind blowing in from right center at 5, gets set. And his evening starts with a ground ball to first. Bronya is there. 1 out. If you missed last night's stream, congratulations, by the way, to Robert for getting the 88 season underway. An inside pitch. Bobby Witt. Through the ultimate Charlie Brown game. Alfonso at 152, 2 homers and 4 RBI. Maddox steals. And there's a ground ball to Bronya. Maddox bolts towards the bag. Rico underhands it, 2 out. So that'll bring up Robin Ventura. Robin at 400. 5 homers and 10 RBI. One of the reasons why the Mets are off to a 5-2 start. Maddox deals, and Ventura laces this one into left field. It'll drop in front of Surhoff, and that's the first hit for New York. Ventura's going to try for 2. Yes. Surhoff kind of lollygags it. The throw to second is certainly not in time. And Ventura, 8 games into the season, has his 4th double. And that'll bring up Piazza. 308, 2 homers, and 6 RBI. So Maddox thought he was out of the first, and then he thought he was just going to be out of it with a single. Pitch to Piazza. There's a line drive to right. Jordan moving over, and Bryan makes the catch. No, it drops in front of him. Ventura's going to round third. Jordan's got a cannon out there. Piazza will hold it first. The throw to Bacco is going to be close. It gets away from him. So Bacco thought he had the ball in the glove, and it skips away. It's an error on Jordan, and it's 1-0 Mets, and Piazza, who has almost no speed whatsoever, is on third base with 2 out here in the first. So that technically is an earned run. Here's Zeal, 185. That's costly indeed. A home run and 2 RBI. So Maddox just kind of staring out there, composes himself, and strikes out Zeal. He got him looking at strike 3. But the Mets get a run on 2 hits and an error. And after 1 here at Shea, it's 1-0 New York. That was just a god-awful throw by Brian Jordan. I don't think they would have gotten Ventura anyway, which is why the run is earned, unless that changes when the inning is reconstructed. But you can't be giving good teams 4 outs, and although the Mets are a 500 club in 01, remember they are the defending National League champions. Surhoff at 278. BJ has 2 homers and 3 RBI. Walked him. So a 3-1 down low. And then I'll bring up Bronya at 250. 6 for 24 with a double. Got him. He swung on and missed a 2-2. We'll call it a fastball at 81. Is there anyone today that doesn't throw 90-mile-an-hour fastball? An 81-mile-an-hour fastball swung on and missed. And that'll bring up Varus at 214. No homers and 3 RBI. Varus chops 1 to third. Ventura only play is to first. Zeal is there, and Varus is retired. Surhoff moves on to second. 2 out for Bacco, who went 1 for 4 against the Marlins last Friday. He singled and struck out. Reed trying to get through the second here with a 1-0 lead. Surhoff on second. Ground ball. Reed sprints towards first. Throw to Zeal, and that will retire the side. Braves, no runs, no hits, no errors. Then leave a man on after an inning and a half here at Shea. 1-0 Mets. So Peyton, Shinjo, and Ordonez to face Maddox here in the second. Jay at 133 with an RBI. Maddox starts the second. Fly ball left field. Surhoff races back to the track, but it's a big ballpark, and he makes the catch. 1 out. So someone want to have a crack at the first name? Tsuyoshi Shinjo. He's 5 for 20 on the replay with an RBI. Shinjo, good role player for the Mets. Swings, and there's a base hit in the right field. Jordan will pick it up. And Shinjo will hold at first. Jordan has a cannon of an arm. In fact, of the Braves' outfield arms, it is the best in a 9. And Maddox is saddled with that earned run. Ray Ordonez at 350, 3 RBI, and 2 doubles. Chopper to Maddox. Greg, of course, gifts wrap that one for second. Veras has it. There will be no throw to first, and it's 1-4 on the fielder's choice, 2 out. Maddox once said regarding sign stealing something to the effect, I'll tell you what I'm throwing, an 86-mile-an-hour sinker, and you still won't swing at it. Here's Rick Reed. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Maddox, of course, just one of the more dominant pitchers for a long period of time ever to go. Had great success, of course, with the Cubs. But, like that quote says, a lot like Mo Rivera for the Yankees, you know what you're getting. It's just like going to McDonald's. You know what it tastes like. Reed struck him out. So Reed, I don't know what he was looking for. Maddox threw the sinker. No runs or hit, no errors. Mets leave a runner on. We go to the third here at Shea. 1-0 New York. Speaking of Maddox, he went 1 for 2 against Jason Grilli and struck out. Reed starts the third. 1-0 New York. And Maddox up the middle. Alfonso behind the bag at second. Over to Zeal. 1 out. It is a cold night here at Shea. 52 degrees now. And that rain is not real refreshing. Kind of like RC Cola. You'll drink it because it's in the house. RC Cola. That's Royal Crown Cola. Winds blowing in from center at 5. And there's a good-sized house here, despite the weather, with the Braves in town. For a call, by the way, I did not read his stats. 333, a homer, and 4 RBI. 0 for 1 today. Opening 9 for Reed. My apologies if you like RC Cola. 36 pitches, 2 1/3 innings for the opening 9 to 1 hit. That was to Andrew Jones. A walk and a strikeout. 1 out. For call, laces this one into left field. Hamilton will pick it up. And that's a second hit for the Braves. The Reds get the slot tomorrow against the Mets. When we show you the standings in a minute, you'll know why. Here's Andrew Jones. He's 0 for 1. For a call goes, and that's a hit and run. And that's grounded foul, third base side. So a 1-strike count to Andrew. Throw to first for Cole. Is back. Pitch out, nothing doing. So the count now a ball and a strike to Andrew. Reed will go to the plate. Jones swings, popped up center field. Payton, a little more than a pop-up run, makes the catch, 2 out. And we're talking about Maddox. John says, nowadays it's all about how hard a guy throws. The MLB network act like it's like giddy schoolgirls. That's his quote, not mine. I don't ever want to think of Harold Reynolds as a schoolgirl. I remember when SportsCenter would feature Greg Maddox start where he'd throw 89 pitches of 8-inning shutout ball, even if he only struck out 5 batters, because it was amazing the soft contact he'd get. Yep, that's absolutely true. He is the Rembrandt of baseball because he could paint a corner. Maddox also said it was easy for him to pitch to Bonds. He would just pitch around him. So did the entire National League. Chipper trying to take chunks out of the grass here at Shea. Doubled his first time up. For call on first. Pitch to Chipper. Popped up. Right center. Payton makes the catch. And that will retire the side. No runs. Braves get a hit. Leave a runner on. Bottom of the third here at Shea. 1-0 Mets. So opening 9 for Maddox. 33 pitches. 2 innings, 3 hits, and 2 strikeouts. Maddox just seems like an all-around cool guy, but does his best to avoid the limelight mostly. Hamilton's 0 for 1. Hamilton strikes out at 0-2 change, looking for strike 3. So here's Alfonso. He is 0 for 1. Maddox kicks and fires. Got him. He checked his swing on a bug bunny changeup, and that wasn't it. 2 out. So 4 Ks for Maddox, and that'll bring up Ventura, who doubled and scored in the third. Maddox did throw hard when he came up. He was signed by the Cubs because he threw hard. Pesky Pole reminds us. He always brings that up. Even back then, well, everyone looked for velocity. But if you don't have any movement on the pitch, the only difference between a 90-mile-an-hour fastball and a 95-mile-an-hour fastball is how many rows it goes back in the bleachers. But if you have movement on the pitch, you can pretty much do whatever you want. Pitch to Ventura. Robin swings, ground ball to second. Varys behind the bag, over to first, and that will retire the side. So, 3 up, 3 down. We go to the fourth. 1-0 Mets. So it'll be Jordan, Surhoff, and Bronya here in the fourth. Brian 0 for 1. The thing is that, kind of like Jim Palmer in that way, that Maddox learned to be a pitcher and not a thrower. It's not all about speed. Also was a secret to Pedro Martinez's success. Yeah, you could fling it, but if you got movement on it, it just becomes a blur that moves. Pitch to Jordan. Brian strikes out, so Rick has 2. Swung on and missed the curve. 1 out for Surhoff, who walked his first time up. Reds and Mets tomorrow. You'll see why in a moment. And then Friday afternoon, we'll finish week 2 with the Yankees and the Red Sox. It is Anakin Skywalker versus Luke. Pitch to Surhoff. Chopper to second. Alfonso is there. Throws to Zeal, and that's an out. Here's Bronya. Rico struck out his first time up. 2 out, top the fourth. Bronya laces this one into left center, goes the opposite way. Payton throws it back in. And Bronya's digging for 2, and he's got it. Yeah, in the 99 playoffs, as Bronya brushes off his pants against the Indians, Pedro had no velocity. What was he on? 1 day arrest? And threw, what, 6 2/3 of no hit or perfect ball? The thing is, if you get too much of the plate, regardless of your velocity, you're going to get nailed. Here's Varys. He's 0 for 1. John says, I'm starting to think, especially with the Strasburg and DeGrom injuries, that maybe teaching guys to pace themselves and go deep may not be so bad, instead of going 120% for 5 innings. I think the counter-argument for that, pitch to Varys, is a fly ball to right. Shinjo over in the corner, and I'll have to hold that thought as we look at the standings. But the Braves get a hit, leave another runner on after 3.5. 1-0 Mets. So here are the standings. No, that was true, Pesky Pole. The All-Star game did him in. He wasn't the same. He was never the same after that outing anyway. Although 2000 is maybe the best modern season a pitcher's ever had, especially with the offense of that era. Anyway, here are the standings. The Marlins have won 5 straight, and they lead the Mets by half a game. Atlanta 3 back. They've lost 4. Don't worry. We played 9, the 9th game of the season. In the Central, the Reds get the TV appearance because they're in first place. Houston and Pittsburgh. Milwaukee is off to a god-awful start at 1-7. In the West, you would expect Arizona to play well, and they are, 5-2. The Dodgers are in last, which is why I think D. Scott Howard isn't watching here. They've lost 3 straight. Break up the 2001 Red Sox. They are 6-1. They've won 5 straight. The Yankees at 500, and Tampa, Toronto, and Baltimore. In the American League Central, it's Chicago at 6-1. Then the Royals, and then a gaggle. And in the West, you'd expect Seattle to do that. 5-2, a game and a half lead over Texas, and all that. So Cincinnati and New York tomorrow, and then the Yankees and the Red Sox on Friday. So John says, I lost it. Oh, my thought on that. You got back to the pesky poll here because you guys are writing and I'll lose it. Of course, that performance in the All-Star game was epic. Not saying it was worth it, but when they do Pedro career highlights, yep. And of course, that was the game that Ted Williams showed up. Tremendous. Off the current topic, Reed was a decent, serviceable starter. AAA All-Star pitcher in the late 80s, early 90s in Buffalo as part of the Pirates organization. John continues with his thought. Stress pitches are always brought up, but like when a guy gets pulled early, that's the last inning was a lot of stress pitches. My thought, going 120% all the time, is stressful on every pitch. And you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. It's not always about the number of pitches a guy throws. The thing is, when you've now trained relievers to get 3 outs and can nibble, pretty much thread a needle at 97, you're only going to ask for 6 innings at most from a starter. My philosophy would be, if you can get 27 batters, through it without giving up 5 runs, 10 hits, you've done a stroke of business. The problem is finding all that pitching. And if you look at someone like Jonathan Papelbon who tried to make that move back to the rotation after closing for the Red Sox a year, it's just difficult to do. Piazza, by the way, has an RBI single, the lone run of the ball game as we start the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 Mets. Piazza laces this one in the left field. Surhoff will pick it up. That's kind of one, and he's held to a single 4th hit for the Mets. Todd Zeile struck out his first time up. That's kind of the Pandora's box of analytics. And Pedro, to kind of tie this back in the discussion, was a big part of that. They knew once he faced batter 27, his numbers just fell off a cliff. And he wasn't supposed to be that durable. Guys like Max Scherzer are rare that you can do both. And again, there isn't really a lot of incentive for a starter to go deep into a ball game that much because you're training your relievers to only get 3 outs. And with a bullpen of 8 or 9, you can get 12 to 15 outs out of your pen every night and not really tax it. Pitch to Zeile. There's a ground ball to Bronya. Rico takes it to the bag himself. They won't go for Piazza, and Zeile's retired. There's an art to pitching. Peyton, by the way, 0 for 1. And I think we've kind of reached maybe the rock and roll portion of it as opposed to the classical. Look, you get your 100 pitches in, you keep the ball away from hitters, and you keep it out of play. I wonder, now that the shift has been banned and a pitch clock implemented for this year, if that, how much of that will change. Jay Payton, by the way, is 0 for 1. Maddox delivers. Ground ball to Bronya. Maddox going to the bag to cover. Rico has time, and there's 2 out. Piazza moves to third. Yeah, and the other thing is money-wise, Verlander, late in his career, signed for Kate Upton's dowry, and he's probably only going to go 5 1/3 at his age, but he's worth it. Besides, their payroll is now not $345 million because Carlos Correa stayed in Minnesota. Here's Shinjo, 2 out. He singled his first time up. Piazza on third. 1-0 here at Shea, a pretty good one. Base hit right field. Piazza's going to score. 2-0 Mets. And Maddox is getting the same support that Bobby Witt got last night. So that'll bring up Ordonez, who's 0 for 1. Got him. He struck him out, and after 4, the Mets get a run on 2 hits and no errors. It's the Mets 2, the Braves nothing. Yeah, I think so too, Mike. Excited about the season because of the pitch clock and the banning of the shift. The game is going to be more appealing. John says pitchers used to try to get a hitter to hit where they want. That involved in just throwing and shifting the defense to the hitter's tendencies. Yeah, it would be nice to see the art of pitching. But again, there kind of is a balance, and it goes back and forth, and baseball ebbs and flows. It's interesting because it's been so long ago, this 2001 season, you thought, oh no, no more complete games and all that. But you look at a number of pitchers we featured, and they're well over 200 innings. Rick Reed isn't going to do that, but he didn't start 30 games. Baco is 0 for 1. Reed starts the 5th. Struck him out. He got him to chase an 0-2 fastball at 83. So here's Maddox. He's 0 for 1. I think that is a broad appeal of baseball. It is never the same game twice. And eras change and all that. Pitch to Maddox. Ground ball to third. Ventura across the way to Zeal for the out. Although I must say, during the World Series pre-play, after not watching a lot of baseball in 2022, that I really enjoyed playing the Astros and the Phillies. Is it different? Yes. Is it bad? No. So Rick Reed, by the way, 18 batters deep, 67 pitches, 4 2/3, 3 hits, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. For Call, 1 for 2 with a single. Raphael lines this one to right. Shinjo is there, and that's the break. Braves go in order. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Halfway home on a 23-degree cold day in Burlington. It's the Mets 2, the Braves nothing. Where is my mouse? You joined us late. Here's how we got here. If you're a Greg Maddux fan, you're going to pay me not to show his starts. The Mets got 1 off of Maddox in the first. Mike Piazza singled home Robin Ventura, but that's deceiving. It was a bad throw by Brian Jordan that allowed the run to score. In the fourth, Shinjo singled home Piazza to make it 2-0. So on this rainy night at Shank, Maddox has allowed 5 hits over 4 innings, has struck out 5. Rick Reed, a 3-hitter through 5. A walk and 3 strikeouts. How you doing, Mr. Tate? And Mike brings up a good point here. The issue with sports today is that all the teams play the same style. Name the sport, and they all play the same. I get why they do it. It's smart. It just isn't entertaining. When we were all kids in the 80s, you loved how every team had their own style. I think as Rick Reed steps up 0 for 1 with a strikeout, with the money involved, not only from television to the teams, but what teams play the players, and this is of every sport, you really don't have time to experiment. And I think that goes back to football, actually, and the 49ers and the implementation of the West Coast offense and how that changed and how it won ball games to use your running backs as receivers and all that, or the run and shoot, which wasn't the West Coast at all. And so if someone tries to go too much out of the box, there's just too much on the line if it doesn't work. Maddox delivers to Reed, and Rick strikes out. That's 6 for Greg. A 1-2 changeup looking. 1 out. So opening 18 for Maddox, 70 pitches, 4 1/3, 5 hits, and 6 strikeouts. Yep, I agree. I mean, we did 85 last year. And the Cardinals in 85 and the Red Sox in 85, and it was 2 different sports. It was really weird when I did the Cardinal game last night, just to see how much power was on that team, because you get used to the mindset of them being a run-and-gun type team. Hamilton, by the way, is 0 for 2. Darrell has a strikeout. Maddox delivers, and there's a ground ball to third. Chipper has it, throws over to Bronya, and that is an out. Brings up Alfonso, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. You remember a few years ago when, in 2016, and Tito Francona used his best reliever in the 6th, and it worked all the way through the World Series? You couldn't do that now. And John brings up a very good point. I was going to mention the Bengals. The West Coast was evolving with Walsh and the Bengals on a necessity. It was Virgil Carter is the quarterback you're thinking of. Kenny Anderson ran it well, but yeah, no one paid attention until Joe Montana used it to such great effect in the 80s. Alfonso 0 for 2 with a K. Maddox steals, ground ball to first. Bronya takes it to the bag for the out. And Maddox is having a very Maddox-like day. We've played 5, no runs, no hits, no errors. Mets still lead 2-1. 2-0. So Jones, and Jordan. Andrew is 0 for 2. There's a line drive left field. Hamilton will pick it up, and the Braves have their 4th hit. Chipper Jones has one of those. He's 1 for 2 with a double. All right. Take care. Always good to get into a discussion. If you haven't already, look at my question on the Digital Dice Facebook group. When do you pull a pitcher who's throwing a no-hitter? Pitch to Jones. Chipper strikes out. He got him looking on an 0-2 curve. So 1 out. Andrew has good speed. Here's Brian Jordan. Brian is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Reed flicks it over to first, and Jones is back. Now he'll work on Brian. There goes Jones. Hit and run is on. Zeal underhands it to Reed for the out. So Andrew moves to second, 2 out for Surhoff, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. Notice that the computer has hit and run a couple times. Just the whole art of manufacturing a run. Again, maybe with the pitch clock and all that might change. Pitch to Surhoff. BJ, ground ball to Reed, third base side of the bag, throws to first, and that's it. So Reed doing a good job defensively. No runs, a hit, no errors. The Braves have left on 5. 5.5 down, 2-0 Mets. So Maddox to face Ventura, Piazza, and Zeal here in the 6th. Robin 1 for 2 with a double. Ground ball or line drive over Veras' head, and that's a single. That should have been caught. It wasn't. And Ventura has the 6th Met hit. Maddox just not real thrilled with the defense behind him in this one. Here's Piazza. Mike has singled twice, driven in the 7th run and scored. Fly ball, left field. Surhoff to the track and makes the catch. So weather actually has gotten worse. The rain has stopped, but it's turned bitter cold. 46 degrees. You'd think the Jets were playing today or something like that. And the wind is howling from right to left off Flushing Bay at 18 miles an hour. Going to make those landings at LaGuardia tricky. Here's Zeal. Todd is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Pitch to Zeal. Up the middle for call. Underhands it to Veras, and that will be 1 over to Bronya, and that is 2. So a 6-4-3 double play ends the inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left on, no errors. After 6 here at Shane, 2-0 Mets. So Bronya, Veras, and Baco with Maddox in the hole as we start the 7th. Reed looking strong. He's pitched 6 good innings. Bronya 1 for 2. He has doubled and struck out. That's going to be a base hit left side. Ordonez dove, couldn't get there. And that's the 5th hit for the Braves. So here's the Q, who's 0 for 2. Throw to first. Bronya is back. Braves have 5 hits. The Mets have 6. Bronya stays put. Ground ball to first. This probably is just going to be for 1, right? Yep, Zeal to the bag himself. Makes the play, and Bronya moves up 90. 2-0 New York. The Braves have the lone error. They have left on 5 so far. The Mets 3. Paul Baco is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Base hit left center field. Bronya will round third. Payton will pick it up, and Bronya's going to come back to the bag. Interesting with 1 out that you don't try and score the run. It brings up Maddox, who you would think would stay in the ball game. Maddox a good bunter. Ventura and Zeal play for the bunt, and it's now colder. It's now blowing out to right center at 18, but it's 44 degrees. There may be a few clandestine bottles of brandy being distributed in the upper decks of Shea Stadium. And Keith Lockhart's going to pinch hit. That's going to do it for Maddox after just 83 pitches. Lockhart, 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. It's interesting logic. 2 for 8 on the replay, hitting 250 with a double. Infield back now. There goes Baco. The hit and run is on, and it's fouled into the stands on the right side. Somebody who lives in the shadow of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge made that catch. So a 1-strike count, 1 out to Lockhart. Paco goes again. The hit and run is on. Ordonez over the mound. Will allow the run to score. They try for the sure out, and they're not going to even get that, are they? No, everybody's safe. Except for the runner. As Ordonez stepped on second for 1, the run scores. You didn't see that on the chalkboard, but Lockhart is safe. So they get the fielder's choice, 6U. So Reed, 18 batters deep, 99 pitches, 6 2/3. A walk and 4 strikeouts, and the 1 run. For call, 1 for 3. See, John, this would be when I would start to wonder how much longer I would leave a pitcher in for. I think 3 times through, regardless of the count, and no by the way, it seems to almost work. Reed's at 99 pitches. He walks for call. And so the Braves had the go-ahead run on first with 2 out for Andrew Jones, who's 1 for 3 with a single. Second walk for Reed. Line drive, ground ball, base hit. Past Ordonez. Lockhart will round third. Is he going to run? They're going to try it. Hamilton does not have a great arm to throw to Piazza's not in time, and this one's tied up. For call, moves to third. Jones holds at first, and that'll do it for Rick Reed. By the way, Dog Days Dice is our latest follower. He's now the 264th, we hope, non-bot to follow the channel. So it won't be Rick Reed to face Chipper Jones. Can't really use Armando Benitez here. It's going to be Dennis Cook. He has the lowest on-base percentage. Potentially against him. So Cook, lefty versus now a righty. Cook, a lefty, making his 3rd appearance of the year, 38 years old, a fastball pitcher, 85, and a fly ball pitcher, pitched Monday against the Braves. Went 1/3 of an inning, 5 pitches, a hit, a home run, his first run allowed. It was earned, a solo shot. The Mets won the ball game 9-6. So overall, 2 innings, 4 hits, a run, it was earned, the homer on Monday, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. No record and an earned run average of 4.5. Chipper, 1 for 3. He has doubled and struck out. Andrew Jones on first now, a 2-2 tie in the top of the 7th. For call on third. He walks Jones, and the bases are loaded. For Brian Jordan, who is 0 for 3. So the Braves, on a night that the infielders are now in ski masks, have chipped and chipped and chipped away. Jordan is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Cook delivers. Brian up the middle. Payton moving over and makes the catch, and the Braves leave them loaded. They do tie the ball game 2-2. Holds that. No, long enough for me to get a drink. Mike Remlinger, who is not a spokesman for Just for Men, 35 years old, making his 5th appearance. Last pitch against the Marlins on the 7th, so 3 full days rest. 2 innings, 37 pitches, 3 hits, and 2 strikeouts in a 2-1 loss. Doesn't have a decision. Earned run average is 225. John's giving me something to read. 4 innings, 6 hits, a run. He gave up a homer to the Mets in Atlanta on opening, or a week ago, yeah. Opening day, I think. Nope, that was Tuesday. So the second game in that 3-game set, a walk and 4 strikeouts. Jay Payton is 0 for 2. So John says, with today's game, I like a pitcher get it to 90, 95 before I consider removing him. Hopefully at the beginning of an inning. I look at who's coming up and decide in advance, okay, how much modern baseball you play? Who I do not want him to face with runners on base. If he gets to that batter where the base is empty at 105, I try to let him finish the inning. At that point is when I say, last batter, whether he gets him out or not. Kind of go by feel even in the sim. Go back and watch last night's game. Pitch to Payton. Jay swings, ground ball. Remlinger towards third. Throws over to first, 1 out. Remlinger, a lefty. He's a 2 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Here's Shinjo. He has singled twice and driven in a run. Popped up. Left side. Chipper. Is that going to be in the seats? Yeah. 2-2 the count. To Shioshi Shinjo. Fly ball, left center field. Back goes Surhoff and Jones, and Shinjo has homered. Into the bleachers and left center, and the Mets reclaim the lead, 3-2. A hard hit, crosswind solo shot on a cold, cold night at Shea. Now 42 degrees. The Braves fans aren't happy. The wind is now blowing out to right at 22. So Shinjo just kind of put that into the cross breeze and smashed it to put the Mets back on top, 3-2. So Remlinger has given up his second home run of the season and the second one to the Mets. Here's Ordonez. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Oops. Could not mean to show the replay again. Disregard that. You will have to, you were sidetracked last night. I mean, it was such a crazy ball game that we're doing a show based on it. That's how nuts it was. All right, Ordonez. Struck him out. Remlinger got him on an 0-2 fastball looking. So the Mets will go to the bench for Cook. Who can hit a lefty? And the answer? Joe McEwing. McEwing hasn't had that bat this year. 283, 8 homers, and 30 RBI in the real season. 3-2 Mets, bottom of the 7th. 2 out. And they've taken the lead off the Shinjo home run. Or retaken the lead. McEwing strikes out. So after 7, the solo home run is big. It's the Mets 3, the Braves 2. So lefty, lefty, switchy. John Franco. Hey, Super Joel from Bishop Egan High School right down the street from me. There you go. Nice. So John Franco, the ageless one, 1-0 with an earned run average of 3. 40 years old, fastball at 87, and a ground ball pitcher making his 4th appearance. He got the win on the 6th against the Expos. On the 8th, he went 2/3 of an inning in a 7-1 laugher. 28 pitches, a hit. He walked 2 and struck out a batter. So overall, John is 3 innings, 3 hits, a run it was earned. He has walked 3 while fanning 6. We'll see what they do. It's lefty-lefty switchy as Surhoff, Bronya, and Varys come up. The Mets want to save Armando Benitez for the 9th. Surhoff over 2 with a walk. Stays in the game. Hits a ground ball to Zeal. Todd almost by the grass. Runs it over. 1 out. For Rico Bronya, who is 2 for 3. He has doubled, singled, scored, and struck out. And Wes Helms is going to pinch hit. Helms 1 for 10. But that 1 hit was as a pinch hitter, and that was a 2-run homer. Franco, fly ball, left field. Hamilton in the corner. Darrow running out of real estate. Makes the catch, 2 out. Brings up the Q, who is 0 for 3. So Franco just trying to set things up. Ground ball to second. Alfonso over to Zeal, and that will retire the side. So Franco does set things up. Kerry Lightenberg coming in. We go to the bottom of the 8th. No runs, no hits, no errors. Mets 3, Braves 2. Lightenberg making his 5th appearance on the year, 30 years old, fastball at 94, and a ground ball plus pitcher. Went Monday in the loss to the Mets, 2/3 of an inning, 15 pitches, and allowed a hit. It was the Marlins that beat him and Greg Maddux 5 days ago. Overall, 4 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs all earned. He's walked 2 and struck out 5. So Hamilton is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Alfonso and Ventura to follow. Mets 3-2. Benitez warming up to slam the door on the Braves. Hamilton into right field. Jordan's not going to have to move all that much. 1 out. So here's Alfonso. Edgar is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Lightenberg kicks and fires. Ground ball to short for call. Across the way. 2 out. It's a 1-run game, but for the Braves, used to playing in warm weather, this has been anything but hospitable here at Shea. The rain stopped a while ago, but now the wind is almost a full gale out to right field at 27. And the actual temperature is 39. Joe Namath is warming up by the first base coaching box, and you can see Matt Snell put on his helmet. Pitch to Ventura, 2 for 3. Draws the walk. He's got the single and a double, and now a walk. Brings up Piazza, who is 2 for 3. His single twice, scored, and drove home his 7th run. Mets would love an insurance run here. Lightenberg and Bucco have a word. Piazza up the middle. That'll be Lightenberg himself on a comebacker. Throws to Helms, who's a 5, and that will retire the side. Braves hold the Mets down. It'll be Bucco, a pinch hitter, and for a call against Armando Benitez. I don't know why that changed. So Benitez has 3 saves on the young season in 2 1/3 innings. He is a splitter, and he throws it at 95. He is a standard pitcher, and is 28 years old. 6th in the National League in saves. 3 for 3. He last got one on the 7th. An 11-pitch, 2-strikeout effort against Montreal in a 6-4 win. 2 1/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Don't forget the postgame report to follow. So Bacco 1 for 3. He has singled and struck out. The Mets trying to go 6-2. And if you're wondering, this is already the 5th meeting between these two teams, and the season series is split at 2. In fact, coming in, both teams have scored 16 runs. That's even. Pitch to Bacco. Ball 4, and the tying run is on. So it'll be Leitenberg's spot. It'll be Dave Martinez. Davey, 5 for 15 on the year, a triple and a solo homer. 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Benitez throws to first, and Bacco is Bacco. He is the tying run, Martinez the go-ahead run, and should the Braves tie the ball game or go ahead, it'll be Zeal, Payton, and Shinjo in the 9th. Benitez from the stretch, line drive. Zeal will have that one go foul. And somebody from Belmont or Elmont, New York, makes the catch. 1-2 the count to Dave. Got him. So there's one out. He got Davey to chase a 1-2 splitter at 93. And that'll bring up for Call, who is 1 for 3. He has singled and walked. Benitez throws over to first, and Paul is back. So again, for Call, the go-ahead run. Benitez on it. Now it's raining. It is a hard, steady rain here at Shea, and the wind is blowing out to right at 31 on a 38-degree night. And those who have stayed have either found the blackberry brandy or are young couples cuddling underneath a poncho, because the old folks have gone home and are listening to Bob Murphy on the radio. Pitch to Furcal is a ground ball up the middle. Might do it. Alfonso de Ordonez for 1, and there's no throw to first. So Lover's Lane remains busy. Blackberry. 2 out on the 4-6 fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Andrew Jones, who is 2 for 4. He has singled twice, driven in a run. Throw to first for Call is back. But last chance saloon, and for Call is a tying run. Piazza calls for the pitch out, and Furcal wasn't going. So 1-ball count. Chipper Jones, who has the deed to Shea Stadium, is on deck. You're partial to Champipple? Never heard of that. Sound like a rock ripple mixed in with champagne? Remember, 2024 is a vintage year. Benitez deals. There's a fly ball right center. Payton moves it over, and the Mets win the ball game by a score of 3-2. So a Fred Sanford concoction. So Fred made it up. So 3 hours. It was 56 degrees and rain when this game started. 38 heavy wind, and yep, the Mets are 6-2, 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and they leave on 4. The good news for the Braves is They've beaten the Mets 2 times out of 5. 2 runs, 7 hits, and an error, and they left on 9. Shinjo gets the MVP following his home run. He drove in 2 of the 3 Mets runs. Maddox does what great. See now, interesting. It's the second time in back-to-back days I thought the computer pulled their starter early. But with the pitcher spot up. So Maddox, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, both earned. He struck out 6. Had plenty in the tank. Remlinger gave up the home run to Shinjo, and then Lightenberg got worked around the walk in the 9th. Rick Reed, 6 2/3 for the Mets, 7 innings, 2 runs, both earned. He walked 2 and struck out 4. Had minus stuff, by the way. Cook gets the win. Franco the hold, and Benitez is 4 for 4 on converting saves. And so they go to 6-2, and they are, for the moment, tied with the Florida Marlins. The Braves, don't worry, they'll be fine at 3-6. It's just so early, it really doesn't mean much of anything. So the rest of this Wednesday night in baseball for you. Yankees beat the Royals 7-6. They pound out 16 hits. Kiesler with his first win. Meadows the loss. Sweeney 3 for 5, his third of the year, and 2 RBI in a losing effort. The White Sox beat the Tribe 10-3. That's why they're in first place. You can come back now because I was reading that. (10-3). Low 2-0. Dave Burba falls to 0-2. Thomas, I'm assuming that's Frank, 3 for 4, his third of the year, and drives in 4. Reds remained red hot, 7-3 over Pittsburgh, pounding out 16 hits in the 7-3 win. Elmer Dessens 1-0, Sauerbeck 0-1, Dimitri Young 3 for 4 with a double. Chicago pounds Montreal 11-4. Abar with a win, Mota with a loss. Gutierrez, his first of the year, 4 for 5 and 2 RBI. The Jays beat the Rays 5-3. Esteban Loaiza gets the win 1-1. Roop falls to 0-2. Carlos Delgado 1 for 2, 2 doubles and double rather, and 2 walks. Boston behind Lieutenant Commander Frank Castillo shuts down the Orioles 5-0. Castillo 1-0. Johnson 0-2. Manny Ramirez 3 for 3 and 2 RBI. The Orioles, by the way, struck out 16 times in that game. St. Louis beats Colorado 5-3. They're both 4-4 now. Klein 1-0. Estachio 0-2. Ray Langford is 4th of the year, 2 for 2 with 2 RBI. Houston just continues to sink Milwaukee 7-5 this time around. Wade Miller 2-0. Sheets 0-2. White a 2-run homer. Milwaukee is now 1-8. Minnesota behind Joe Mays' 2-hitter. He strikes out 6. Doug Mientkiewicz 3 hits, 2 homers, and 4 RBI. The Twins pound out 19 hits as they destroy the Tigers 15-0. Malicki takes the loss. Darren Dreifert gets his first win of the year. The Dodgers beat the Diamondbacks 4-1. San Diego beats San Francisco 6-3. Jones with a win. Sean Estes falls to 0-2. Rich Aurilia 3 for 4 with a double. Seattle beats Oakland 6-5. Nelson 2-0. Jason Isringhausen blows a save. He's 0-2. Gibson for Seattle 3 for 4, a triple and a double. The Angels pound out 16 hits. Tim Salmon a homer, 5 RBI. Ortiz gets the win, and Anaheim beats Texas by the score of 13-2. Reds and Mets tomorrow. Yankees and Red Sox Friday. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. So long.